Anybody hear me out there? Give me a
I can hear
wave. Okay, good. Good to see you.
you. You do.
Of course, it's not as cold where most everybody else is today. I was chopping wood. That's why I'm a little woolly this morning. All right, let's give everybody a second here to jump in. Got a few people coming in. Stragglers coming in live. Let's give it one more minute here for everyone to roll in.
Is that cold in Florida? You got to wear a hat?
I was just chopping wood. It's cold. It's like, I don't know, 9 degrees this morning. It's nice. I like that.
Yeah, we're having a winter down here too. So.
Yeah, I don't think winter in Texas quite Vermont, but that's all right. Well,
we're in the 30s for a couple of hours. It was cold.
I've heard. I've been talking to some agents in Orlando, Florida, the other day, and they said it was jacket getting temperature. Even Jim woke up the other day and said it was like 54 degrees. I had to put a coat on.
Yeah,
like that's crazy. All right, so we got all right. Almost a few more people popping in here. So Jackie, you feel right at home with our subject today. Obviously, we realize that you guys weren't the only ones who sometimes get angry texts or calls from people. So it spawned us to this over the weekend talk a little bit more about the operation of dealing with some of those texts and some of those things. So I'm just going to pull up a couple of scripts. I'm going to pull the LP Mama script up for everyone as we're going here. It is on the Facebook page, but I know not everybody has that, so we're going to pull this out real quick. And I'm going to flip the screen open, share my screen with everyone here. LP Mama. Cool. Just keep this up as we go. Jim should be jumping on in a minute. So, but basically, everyone that's on here now, the premise of the call base is like, I mean, everyone gets them. We all get angry texts. We all get angry calls from people. We all get people trying to throw us off our game, trying to throw us off, our mission, which is sure to sell some houses and make some cash, but it's also our mission to like bring service to people, bring value to people, and give them a reason to want to stick around and talk to us, and do business with us. So last week we had a call from a team that we work with here in Chalpos, and they're saying they mentioned a couple of men back where you've been hitting them hard with phone calls and texts. People say, "Stop calling me, stop texting me. Why are you calling so much? Why are you texting me so much?" Things like that. So that's just really just it's a knee-jerk reaction. We all know it. We're all in sales. We all understand that. And you walk into a store to look for shoes. You want to buy shoes. The guy says, "You need help buying shoes." You're like, "No, I don't need any help." It's just the way it is. We know that's the fact. But they're just throwing a wall up, and we're trying to get over that wall and flip the script on them and just get right back on point to questions that help them get to where they want to be. And that's the whole point of it. We're not bringing value. We're not helping people out. They're not going to want to transact with us. They're not going to want to stick around with us. So one of the things we got to go back to here is the LP Mama script, which I know some of you guys saw a few weeks ago. We pulled this out, and why we like it is because it's just great, right to the point, and it's easy to remember. Location, price, motivation, agent, mortgage appointment. Obviously, you come out of the gate, the last thing you want to do is say to somebody, "Hey, you got money? How much is your pre-approval? What kind of pre-approval you're working with?" That's not a fun question. So you got to ease into it a little bit. So Jackie, because you had a call with us last week with me and Jim, we talked to you guys a little bit. So just talk a little bit about that one lead that you had that came in that was a little angry, and we'll kind of play off of that because that's a really good one. That guy was definitely hotter than others.
It was Jen's lead.
That was Jen's lead, right.
Yeah, but I think it was a female actually, and she said something along the lines of "Stop calling me. I don't respond well to this aggressive sales pitch or something along those lines.
Yeah, and again, we chalk that up to a couple things. Is all these leads are getting hit with multiple agents. Jim and I were talking last week about this survey. You can find it on Google. It's I think Zillow puts it out. There were maybe 80 million searches for real estate set up last year, online searches, and not nearly that many houses sold. So there's basically, we figured out it was almost 6 or 7 times, I think, the amount, or 8 times the amount of houses sold in the country than there were online searches set up. So people are setting up searches left and right. They're getting into Zillow, they're getting into your system, they're getting into my system, they're getting into everybody's system. And Jim's texting me right now.
Well, I can hear. Can you hear me, Trevor?
Oh, yeah. I got I have the LP Mama screen up. Can you see the LP Mama?
Yeah. No, I've been on. Yeah, one thing I wanted to add or jump in is that I think it's the, the mindset. Because if you think that you're bothering the people or you're hassling the people, I think it's a lot of how you look at the call or receive it. So in other words, if you receive this person, let's say this buyer, for instance, is like, a little upset, or why are you calling me? Why are you being so aggressive? And if you feel that you are giving them a disservice, it's probably going to make the call a little tougher. So I think if you can change your mind that, first of all, you're not the one calling these people, irritating them. And if you really are looking to help them, I think it'll change the outcome or your approach to the call.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, again, kind of where, going back into that psychologically of the psychological aspect of the whole thing. It's getting right behind it. So based on that call that we had with Jackie and Jen last week, Jim, right, we were talking about how that lead was, came right out of the gate. Too many, you're aggressive, you're coming at me with all these texts and emails and phone calls. And how do we flip that over for them? What would we do right there just to show those guys how to flip that script real quick?
Well, let me ask this. Who else gets these calls where you feel like maybe you're bothering the person or the person feels that you're bothering them?
And everybody's got to get that call, right? Everybody's got to get a call like that, get a text like that.
We all get that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marty, do you feel when you get that call that they're just saying that, do you think you're taking it directed to you, or do you think that they're just making a broad statement to everybody?
Actually, I think it's just more of a broad statement.
Okay.
Realistically, I don't think I've had but maybe 1 or 2 people that actually came back to me, made that type of complaint, I guess, associated with that. And when they do, matter of fact, the only one that I really could come to my mind actually was one that came through Shop Boss. That's when I first subscribed. That's because I didn't realize that when you push send, it doesn't turn a different color. It remain green. So, but for just calling people in general, I really don't. I think the major problem that I have is it comes to I didn't register on the site or something like that, or I don't recall that information, something like that. But just complaints, I don't have that.
Right. So when you get that, what do you say?
Well, I think that's the gist of this call. It's like when I get the statement that you didn't register on the sites, actually, it kind of throws me off, to be perfectly honest with you. So hopefully we can discuss that on this call.
All right. So the first thing I would do there, Marty, would be, or you didn't register on the site. I understand. So repeat, affirm. That's like your initial. If you just get into the habit of doing that, a bunch of things happen. First of all, you're creating a conversation with them. And the other thing is, if you're stumped or you feel you're stumped, you don't know what to say, that's going to give you a couple seconds to figure out what you're going to say next. And most importantly is you don't want the caller to feel that they stumped you, because you're going to look like an amateur and they're going to be in control of the call.
You don't want to call them out either. Like, obviously, if they say I didn't register on the site, and you're like, yeah, you idiot, you definitely registered. You don't want to call them out. You want to get them back on your side. Keep them on your side.
And it really doesn't matter if they registered on your site or not. I mean, it doesn't even matter that we're even having this conversation, does it? I mean, you don't even want to have that conversation about whether they're registered on your site or not. Correct?
Yes, realistically, whether they registered on a site, it's more about it. So are you actually browsing for homes, or you just, Are they for houses or what?
Well, the thing is, Marty, I mean, if they're looking for a house, it really doesn't matter. So that's the question that, so just keep going, on the script. Because at some point, if they're not looking for a house in any form or fashion, they're not going to continue to have a conversation with you. So I understand you didn't register on my site. I get that. But what are you looking for? That's how I would just flip it. I understand you didn't register on my site. I get it. I understand. What type of home are you looking for?
Or maybe maybe your spouse didn't. Is your spouse looking for a home?
Maybe what?
Maybe your spouse is looking for a home. I don't know.
Is that a question you would ask, or that's what you're thinking?
Yeah, I would ask that.
Yeah, no.
Do you have a partner? Are you married? Are you married, Marty?
Yes.
Would you ever look at a house? Would you ever be seriously looking at homes without your wife knowing about it?
Oh, I wouldn't. No.
How could it happen, though? I mean, two people together, if you're looking for a home,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're getting a divorce or secretly getting a divorce. I mean, even if you were getting a divorce, you would know about it, right? So let's say this was a secret, but why would it ever be a secret? So if the wife signed up, the husband already knows that they're looking for a home. So that's not even a conversation you would even have, right?
Right. Okay.
I wouldn't.
You would just avoid that. Just right on is, repeat and affirm and move right on to the question. Because again, just, they're trying to trick you. Just flip the script, get them right out of there. They're putting the roadblock up and you're right over that roadblock.
What other objection or situation stumps you guys? It's usually in the beginning of the call, I can tell you that. Because the further you go down the call, the closer you're getting to the goal, whether it's the appointment, whatever it might be, that the purpose of your call. So remember that, guys. If you're keeping them on the phone, don't get off, because the longer you stay on the phone, the closer it is to your goal, whatever that might be. And the goal in this case is just to figure out where they are, where they stand, because the goal is not to set an appointment, Jackie, if they're just started looking today, right?
No.
It'd be foolish, So, and a strong person might be able to set up that appointment to come in the office, but they're not going to make the appointment.
Yes.
They won't make it.
The biggest thing I learned from all this, Jim, is to stay on the script. And I don't know, I'm not saying totally avoid the question, but the repeat and affirm has been a big learning lesson for me, because I get sidetracked with the stuff they're asking.
Oh, totally. And it's not, you're not ignoring it, because ignoring it would be not repeating and affirming it or not acknowledging it at all. You're doing just the opposite. You're making it aware of them. You're just not going to have that conversation.
And John, you've been doing this a while, John. You've obviously sold some houses. So, after you make these phone calls and you start doing this, even if you don't have the script and you don't have this in your mind, after 50 or 30 phone calls like this, it starts to come natural that you want to get to the next portion of the call. It's the
Right.
Like Jim says, the strongest part is getting in that first 10 seconds in the beginning of that call, because the regular agent's going to roll on that objection. The strong agent's going to follow through that and build a rapport and get that person on their side, for sure. Yeah. And obviously you've done that, but you feeling now that you even see the difference, and you've been doing this 30 years.
Right. A lot of my business is from referrals too, and repeat clients. So the same things aren't necessarily there. Jim might argue that they are, but
you need to be showing this stuff to Jake too, because Jake's your guy and he's going to be the face of your business, as time comes on. So this kind of stuff's super important for him as well.
So John, the process is the same. It's just that you're more comfortable with the person you're working with because it's a referral, right? There's no chasing. You're not chasing them.
There's no chance for rejection.
Exactly.
Or less of a chance.
But the conversation or the process is the same. You listen to them, you ask, they tell you something, you repeat, affirm, you ask another question. So you're just more comfortable. So that's what I talked about, the mindset in the beginning, is getting comfortable with the person you're talking to and have the mindset that, you're not bothering them or whatever it might be, right? So it's that frame of mind that starts it off, because you don't have that negative frame of mind when you're talking to a referral, right, John?
Right.
Exactly.
So open them right up with that first question. Right, just flip the script. Well, what are you looking for? If you were looking, or you are looking, what are you looking for? See anything you like? Any of those kind of questions, I can leave a big open answer to them, I mean, they're on the site, they're looking at something. A lot of times you may have even seen that they've seen some stuff online, but it doesn't really matter because the whole point is just to get them on your side and get them out of that mindset that they're giving you they're throwing you off.
Who's here? Think about the last time you've been, let's say, pretty upset, pretty angry, on the angry side, right? And you're talking to somebody, right? Just picture the last time that you were angry, whether it's a spouse, a friend, whatever it might be. Think of the response, right? Think of the response going back. So Jackie, let's say you're furious right now and you're calling me and I'm AT&T or Verizon or whatever, right? And you're a little pissed off that your bill or something. The best thing for me as a Verizon employee to handle that phone call would not be, I would not want to be super bubbly and nice when you're irritated. Because what would that do to you?
Probably make it worse.
It probably would.
Probably feel like I was being patronized, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're a little pissed off and upset, I mean, if I kind of like do the same thing, I always think of like this. So it's like the mirror. It's the pacing and the mirror and matching, right? So I think of like a police officer, for instance, right? So I think of a police officer when he goes into a situation. Let's say it's a little hostile, right? Let's say there's a little brawl between two people or something. That police officer is not entering that situation all smiley and nice and so forth, is he? He's coming into that situation at the same level, right? And then what he's doing, he's if he's good, he's getting them down, right? He's talking them down. So he doesn't go into the conversation talking really calm and trying to get these guys calm. He's pissed off with them, right? Because if I get angry with you, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden start to bring it down, I can control where the call's going to go, right? So that's the same thing. So if you're calling somebody, it's Jackie, you're the fifth person who's called me today, right? You'd want to respond with, I'm the fifth person who's called you. Wow. Get a little, so match their tonality, whether it's nice, mean, or whatever it might be, and then slowly bring them to where you want, right? Totally.
The police analogy is great because cops do come in to control the situation. That's what their main goal is. Control the situation, bring them down to a level that the cop can be in control at that point. And what happens when a cop does that, you're totally out of control at that point. You are whatever the guy has to say. So that's a good analogy to think of that and coming in top down from that. So when the call comes in, if whatever the disposition of that call is, even if they're cheery and happy, you want to be in that cheery and happy sort of first 10 seconds of the call to get on the rapport with them and get them on your side, kind of build a little rapport and build some solidarity with them so they think you guys are too. You're on the same side with them.
Here's a couple things. This is I for some reason I learned I can't think of a couple of the movies, but there's some really good movies where they have or if you can YouTube this, when there's a hostage situation, right? So think about there's I don't know, a guy with a bomb in a bank or something, right? And if you can get whether it's a movie or not, I think a movie's good because they do it. But think about the conversations that person, the guy who's trying to get the guy to give up some hostages or give up the bomb or walk out. Think about how, if you really listen and watch how they do that, you can learn a lot. Right? So there's times when they're in a hostage situation, how many times you've seen where the guy doesn't give in, and the guy who's outside in the little van, right? Just think about it. He's out there in the little van talking to the guy in the bank at the bomb. How many times he'll hang up the phone on the guy, right? Like, well, wait a minute. He's trying to talk the guy out, right? Or give up some hostages, and he's upset with the guy. He's pissed off with the guy because the other guy's elevated as well, right? So I think if you watch some of those situations, whether they're real or in a movie, I think you'll learn a little bit, because if you kind of follow that and think about how that can come into play when making a call, there's a lot, I think, in common.
So think about this too. Obviously, as we're talking, these leads, there's 80 million searches set up online. These leads are getting called, not just from you guys. They're getting emails, not just from you guys. So, the most agents are probably getting on the phone and pissing them off. They're getting a phone call saying, hey, how's it going? You got a pre-approval? Hey, well, how much of a house are you looking for? When do you want to go see a house? When do you want to come out and meet me at my office? My team's great. We're the number one sellers. That's not the way to get in. If we're coming with value, and that's the problem with most of the realtors, are not coming with value. They're not presenting up front something that's valuable in the mindset to the buyer. So they get you on the phone. They think you're the regular agent that calls them up all the time and wants to know how much money they have and when they want to spend. So that getting back on their side and then getting that question of something to them, like, well, where are you looking? Like, where do you want to be? Get it back to, bring it back to them, bring it around back to them, and forget about those first couple of questions that we always thought we had to ask. Are you pre-approved? Do you want to come to my office? Those will get you hung up on quick.
And even if you, let's say screw it up. If you screw up a phone call, what's the worst that can happen if you screw up a phone call? Let's say you're horrible. You bombed it. What's the worst? They hang up. Right, that's it. But here's the thing, though, guys. You still have their name, their phone number, right? You still have the lead, and the lead is still looking for a house, right? How many times have we called somebody where, I don't know if anyone here, Trevor, you have young children. Can you imagine making dinner for your child and they're acting up or something like that and you get a sales call? How are you going to act versus if you're like driving down the road and there's nothing else going on? You're going to act completely different and you're the same person, aren't you?
Totally. And I'm a sales guy and I expect calls all the time. And if I were just the guy in the kitchen, I'd be pissed. And then that's the big thing with the speed to the lead with shop bosses, because, or any situation, speed to the lead, because the people that are doing these real estate functions online are there for, it used to be 20 minutes was one spot at a time on it's down to 7 to 8 minutes now that somebody spends the time online doing one function. You call that guy at minute 11, he's making dinner with the kids and he's pissed off. Real estate, what are you talking about? So the getting there quick while they're relevant in their head, you've got much of a better chance to get that person to flip over to at least what you're talking about, because they're thinking about it. It's relevant at that minute. Yeah.
And I'll add to that. Think about this, right? So we all get busy and we all act depending on what our situation is, right? So if Trevor, if you were online yesterday, and let's say Sunday morning you were online looking at a home, right? And you're really looking for a home, and it's Sunday morning, and they didn't decide to call you to 10 or 4, and you're watching the Patriots and the Dolphins game, and you're biting your nails and stuff, and the guy calls you.
Not happy.
Not happy.
Not even not happy. I might want to buy a house, but I don't even care.
And what if he called you 5 after 4, right? When your favorite team just lost, you're like furious, right? So, but what if he called you at 9 o'clock in the morning when you registered? So here's the thing, guys, right? Because if you're mowing the lawn, changing the kid's diaper, you're grocery shopping, you're doing something, and you get a sales call, you're not in the right position to take that call. But here's the thing: have you ever been changing your diaper, your child's diaper, or doing the dishes, or cooking, and searching online, looking for a house? You don't do it. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You can't be changing a diaper and searching for properties on Zillow. So therefore, if you call the lead right away, they're not changing diapers. They're not mowing the lawn. You see? So you have just a huge advantage by calling the lead right away.
It used to be a 20-minute function. Now it's like 7 minutes. When was the last time any of you guys spent more than 10 minutes online looking for something? Rarely. And if you want information on something, you see something, you want to click it, you want to get the text or the call with information right away. Your mind's totally somewhere else. 7 minutes later. This is the new study now. It was 20 minutes, not 7 minutes. That's a short amount of time to get a hold of somebody quickly, and a whole big, large amount of time to get somebody pissed off when they're not on that call. So again, it's I think most of the agents out there are not coming with any kind of value. They're coming with a silly opening line, and they're pissing everybody off because there's 80 million searches out there and only 10 million houses sold. So those are getting calls from 8 out of 10 agents probably suck. And you guys are actually getting through to people, and you're getting something to get in the door, because you wouldn't be sitting on this call if you weren't selling houses. That's for sure. Layla's got something. Layla here just chimed in. Layla, I think you're unmuted now. Said she's got a good, she's got a pissed off buyer. We can try to work off and see if we can get something on her.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy Hanukkah. It's a happy Monday, so I'm so happy to be with dear happy on this group, really. To the point, okay, I like to go to the point. This was like a week and a half ago. A guy came through Zillow. I answered the phone. I mean, you're talking about pissed off. He was pissed off. He's screaming at me. How come you have estimated my house less than what I purchased it 6 months ago? Let him talk. He just screamed, yelled, and he's talking. He's still talking. I said, wow, dude, you're really pissed. I just acted exactly the way that he was acting. And I said, but I'm going to listen what you're saying. I took the information from him, and Zilla had recorded the voice, the call. So I said, if you're going to continue with this kind of an attitude, sir, I am going to hang up on you. And I did. But I promise, I said before I did, but I promise I will do my research and call you back and see what's the situation. So what I found out that he bought this property from our office, and he's looking at Zillow, and his property value went down $6,000-$7,000 in last 4 or 5 months. So I called him back after I did my research. I said, this is the same agent you spoke like half an hour ago. Now I want you to kind of listen intuitively what I have to say. So I gave him the comfort. He told me all his story. He was in the Navy. And I listened. The conversation ended up saying, thank you so very much, Leela. Now I understand how Zillow works. Because I told him, Zillow is not your agent. They don't even know your house. Here is what your house is worth right now at this time in this market. He was happier than he could be. But I listened to him because he was just all over. He was really mad.
Do you think he's not mad at you, who's just mad?
Exactly. He was mad at Zillow.
Really, you used two of the techniques right there in that call that Jim had just talked about a few minutes earlier. So you came in like the police officer to a situation that was tense. The guy was hot. You said to him, I'm pissed off. You're pissed off, sir, about that. You joined right up with him. You got right on his level. You're pissed off too. Then you went to the hostage negotiator and you said, you know what? I'm going to hang up on you if you keep up like this. And you hung up on him.
I did.
But then what happened? You got back to him with the information he wanted. And you brought him back over to your side. I mean, those two techniques right there. Like Jim says, he wasn't mad at you. He doesn't know it's you. He's just mad in general. So these people, even when we get them on the phone or if they send us an angry text, they're not mad at us. There's 80 million searches and only 10 million houses sold. So 8 other agents called this guy and pissed him off. You're the one that just happened to connect to him at the time he was most mad. Great switch on that.
Yeah, what I learned from the book that I truly studied and dissected is the Platinum Rule.
Oh, my favorite. That's one of my favorite books.
Who's that, Jim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a really good book. It's a really good book.
Yeah.
I even remember the author. That's how good. And I don't remember any of his last. I think the author is Cassandra.
What's the name of it again?
I give away
Platinum
that
Rule.
book, The Platinum Rule, and there are several books that go along with the same concept. When I was doing my international mastermind group, we really dissected that book. It talks about a lot on disc analysis, behavior, and all that stuff. So what it is, it takes it one notch above the golden rule, but I really exercise this platinum rule is because I will treat you the way that you want to be treated. Right?
Yep. So the platinum rule, I think there was, I went to go order the book, but I couldn't find it. And then I found that there was another version. So the one I have, the version of the book I have is at least 10, 12 years old. I think he did another one since then. But I did find the old book. I just saw it like a week ago.
There's another one. It says, I'm stuck, you're stuck. Okay. I mean, there are several books like that. The Platinum Rule is...
I think there's a couple versions of it. But
correct.
It's
Correct.
Pretty good.
Correct. Very, very good. So
I just found a copy of it for sale on eBay for $3, the original.
Yeah.
Just tossed the link up in the chat. So someone should jump in there and grab that for $3.73.
give that away to your agents that they are in your team, because that is a powerful book that they can mirror and mirror. Exactly. So it's a good book. I will never leave that book alone. You know, even with my broker, you know, I had to really study my broker because he was pissing me off, you know. And next time you're going to talk with me, you come to my office, be in my ground. You listen to the story from both sides, you know. So anyhow, I love my boss.
I thought it was Cassandra. I thought it was Cassandra.
It's a man. Yeah. So anyhow, that's it. It's that
Right,
book will make a ton of money.
So I just wanted to touch base.
That's great. Thank you, Layla, for sharing.
You're welcome, Jim.
First 239 841.
Cool. Anything else, guys?
I don't think so.
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank
Come
you.
in the door, come with value, get on their side, affirm and repeat.
Mirror and
move on.
match. Mirror and match. Yep.
And
Boom.
move on. Just write down, bring it to them. And LP Mama script again. It's in our file section in the Facebook groups. A bunch of other scripts there, but the LP Mama one's great. You can write right down there, and it's pretty simple. You'll have some appointments in no time. Thanks for coming out today, guys. It's recorded if you need to see it again, and all the other recordings are also on the Facebook group in the file section. And we'll see you next week. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.